morning. Hope everybody's doing well this morning and that everything's going well. It is Friday. It's a YouTube Friday. Weather looks awesome. If you are a warm weather fan, it's just going to be a great weekend, I think, for you. Um, Finishing up our three-part series today for things to end the school year with. If you remember, the first part was iPads and apps, some things that you might want to save when it comes to apps. Create a spreadsheet of apps that you liked or take a screenshot, and you can see those apps and not lose those in the transition of maybe summertime, or you have a list of your go-to apps, top 10 or something like that. Just to have a copy of those just in case something would happen. Or you can also add to that list during the summertime. So I thought that was something that you might want to do is, just catalog some of those apps that you use, most used apps, maybe go through your app store and clean some of those out, and that will open up some more storage for you. So that was part one. Last week, we took a look at Google Classroom, things to finish up at the end of the school year for that, in terms of archiving a class, making sure that you have references to go to, or just a class to go to for next year to see where you're at as a reference point. Today we're going to take a look at Canvas as a finish of our part three, is some things that we want to make sure that you are aware of when it comes to Canvas and the use of Canvas. And I've had a couple Canvas questions this week, and so I thought I would address those. So first of all, important dates. I will put down in the description of when these dates are. The last time that your students will have access to the Canvas will be the 2nd of June. That's when the grades are due. And then teachers, you will have access till the 30th of June. So students will have access till the 2nd. Teachers, you'll have access to your current Canvas classes till the 30th. So something to think about if you are having some people turn in some things late, or you want to take a look at some projects. So let's take a look at one question to address as we finish up the year. One teacher wanted to know, how can I save my material for next year? Maybe during the summer, I want to populate, work in Canvas a little bit for my next year, noting that you don't have your kids in there yet. They haven't been populated, but how can I set up a class and maybe put some materials in? So let's take a look at that. Great question, by the way. As we are presenting this, remember that you do have access to Canvas throughout this summer if you want to get on that and do some work. So we're going to take a look at my Canvas page. Now mine looks a little bit different than yours, simply because of the fact of the way that I teach. So here is you don't have this, that's just for admins, but here's my classes. And what I've done is I have made a sandbox class simply by going to start a new class, start a new course, click on that. You're going to want to make it private. You don't want to make it public. Don't worry about anything like that. Don't make it public domain. Just make it private, because you're the only one that's going to be using it. Now you can add teachers to that if you would like. So I've already made my sandbox. I'm not going to publish mine, but let's open my sandbox and take a look at what it looks like. Now this is where you can put all your files. You can export course content. You can import from the Commons. So there's two things you can do. You can create a sandbox class, or you can put it in the Commons and then pull it from the Commons. I just made a sandbox class. This is where you can pull things from your Drive. So your Google Drive, you can click on that, pull things on, drop it in there. You can put some of your old files. But this is what I would recommend to do, and just call it Sandbox. And you might say, how do I change that name? I can go to Settings, and then see how the course code, you don't have to have a course code. You can just call it Sandbox also. You can change the image to it, but it's just going to be a place. My main thing for mine is it's just a place where I can put my materials. that I've used from another class, I can just import it, or maybe I want to add to it during the summertime. You can run it just like you normally would your normal class, but nobody can see it unless you ask people to join you, and that's all right to do too. So that's what I would do. Just call it Sandbox. And if you're working with a team of teachers and you want to create a sandbox, they can have admin rights and they can also add things to it. So that's just one way that I would go ahead and save some of the material. And then you can go back to it the following, the fall when you get back. But that was one of the big questions, and I wanted to make sure we answered it. So just to kind of review, your Canvas access for the students ends June 2nd, actually midnight of June 2nd. So right there at the turn of the clock. And then that's when grades will be due, or that's when PowerSchool makes a transition. And then the last time that you'll have access to the material will be June 30th. So remember that as if you want to go get grades from a test and you from second semester and you need to record those grades, you want a hard copy or transfer that data. Once that 30th turns, June 30th changes, then you'll lose that data. So just to kind of give you a heads up, I will put those dates in the description, and then you'll be good to go with that. So hope you have a great weekend. We got one more week to go. I'm very proud of you. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy this awesome weather that's happening, and then you can just gear up for one more week. So, all right. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching. Like always, thanks for all you do. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to email. Thank you.